Best Gaming PC for 2022. From cheapy computers that can just about handle HD to 4K PC monsters, will help you navigate the terrain. There's no shortage of options when it comes to new gaming PCs. Whether you're on a stringent budget or you're ready to splurge, we've gathered some of the best gaming PCs to complete your gaming experience. But even with all of these options, gamers are among the hardest segments to recommend PCs for, at least if you're in the 99% for whom price matters. There are just too many choices, especially if those looking to forego a pre-built PC and embark on a gaming PC build of their own. Further, your buying decisions have likely been influenced by the pandemic, whether because you're anticipating working from home for the long haul or because your budget has shrunk substantially. If you're unsure, you may want to hold off for a little while before jumping in. In the meantime, you could fill the gap with a cloud gaming service, like Stadia or GeForce Now, or a desktop as a service like Shadow, provided your network connection is up to it. I'll admit, I'm waving my hands a bit here. Some of these aren't recommendations for a specific gaming computer, more for ballpark configurations and honorable mentions of the manufacturers or system builders with a specific case design that you should consider in various scenarios if you're a PC gamer. And when it's time to sweat the details, User Benchmark is a great site for getting a sense of key features and performance deltas between different components. Before continue, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know I stand on setting goals, and my first goal for YouTube is 2,500 subscribers. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a comment with your name, and I will personally recognize each and every one of you in a video. So let's start. Number 6 is HP NB32 All-in-One. Best all-in-one for gaming. I'm not sure an all-in-one is the best route to go for gaming, partly because the built-in displays are all fixed at 60Hz refresh and they use mobile parts. But for PC gaming where a big, 32 inches, 4K HDR screen may make a big impact, like simulations, HP's RTX 20 series equipped all-in-one can't be beat. The model we tested was the RTX 2060 configuration. Prices start at about $1,700 with the GTX 1650. HP is quick to boast about some of its all-in-one specific firsts. The first display HDR 600 screen and first with NVIDIA GeForce RTX graphics, as well as to make some oddball best claims, like it's world's loudest AIO and the world's widest 4K screen in an AIO. There are AIOs with wider screens, like HP's own NB34 curved, but they're all lower resolution, such as 3440 by 1440 instead of 3840 by 2160, and 21:9 aspect ratios rather than the more common 16:9. The ultra-wide displays can be an issue for graphics work, as well, since the curve can mess with your perception of straight lines and negatively affect color accuracy/uniformity. I suppose loudest is a big plus if you live in an apartment and hate your neighbors. Number 5 is MSI Meg Trident X. Best gaming performance in tight spots. The Trident X packs top-flight components into a skinny chassis, only about 5 inches wide, and is surprisingly quiet for all its power. Plus, it looks a little more like a gaming system than the low-key Corsair models. The RTX 20 series models have been discontinued and the RTX 30 series are in pre-order, but prices start at about $2,400 with a 10th Gen Core i7, 32GB RAM, an RTX 3070 and a 1TB SSD. There are limited pre-built configurations to choose from, except if you're Amazon. There, you can buy it with either 32GB or 64GB memory and tons of different combinations of the more 2.5-inch SSD, plus a single hard disk. Otherwise, it comes with the 8-core Intel Core i7-10700KF, and an MSI GeForce RTX 2070 Super Ventus or 2080Ti graphics card. In theory there's also a 10-core Core i9-10900K configuration, but I couldn't find the current model for sale anywhere. The line starts at $2,299, but if you like the case and don't need the power, the similar, but not identical, MPG Trident 3 starts at $1,049 with a Core i5-10400F and a GTX 1660 Super. Some bundles come with MSI's Vector GK30 keyboard and Clutch GM11, which feel a little too low budget for this system. Number 4 is Falcon Northwest Talon. Best mid-tower for customizers. Alcon Northwest 2020 version of its mid-tower, 38-liter, Talon case, formerly called the 20th Anniversary Edition, is much improved over the older case, and because FNW's a custom builder you get a gazillion configuration options and pretty paint jobs. The configuration I tested was fast and stable. It's not cheap, but it should last you a long time. You can base a system around a variety of mid to high-end Intel Core, up to 10th Gen X series, or AMD, Zen 3 Ryzen's and Threadripper processors, with appropriate motherboards, power supplies, liquid cooling and fans. While there isn't a Xeon option for workstations, you can get NVIDIA Quadros up to an RTX 8000. The Intel processors have an option for overclocking with 3 days of testing, though the company does warn you it voids the Intel warranty. It doesn't overclock AMD's, but they all come with AMD's Ryzen Master software for DIY monitoring and overclocking. Prices start at $2,434, but that's with a quad-core Core i3-9100F and no onboard Wi-Fi. Directly converted, that's £1,845 or 3,600 Australian dollars. While the company ships internationally, it doesn't explicitly offer international pricing on its site. You can get better configurations for the same money. Unless you want something a little more powerful and customized, or just really like the case, it's probably not worth the extra spend. I've always found FNW's builds quite dependable, stable until I start disabling all the Windows settings that drive me nuts, efficiently and attractively laid out, and generally premium, with lots of gloss and metal. And they've been that way since the first one I tested, longer ago than I, or the web, can remember. Number 3 is Maingear Turbo. Best combo of size, speed and gaming flash. Maingear's Apex liquid cooling system has a stunning, look-at-me I game style, plus it keeps high-end components like an AMD Ryzen 5950X and NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3080 chilled, quiet and running at top speed for your 4K gaming and heavy-duty simulation gameplay. And though it's not the smallest of the small form-factor desktops, it's still more compact than a mid-tower, just a little larger than 2 Xbox Series 10 consoles. The entry price will only get you a fairly staid-looking 1080p system, though, you'll have to spend more to get both the flash and the speed. Maingear doesn't offer any pre-configured models of the small form-factor Turbo, only of its larger brother, the Vibe, and incorporates only AMD CPUs. The base configuration of a Turbo runs $1,409 equipped with an AMD Ryzen 5 3600, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650, 8GB of RAM and a 512GB SSD. That's expensive for the components, but not for the size. Only a few compact models with similar specs or better, such as the MSI MPG Trident 3, run under $1,000. Our roughly $5,000 test configuration isn't even maxed out. You can bump it up to an RTX 3090, 64GB RAM, and a total of 14TB of storage for about $7,000. And that doesn't include any of the company's custom paint jobs. Number 2 is Corsair One Pro i200. Best small PC for gaming and creation. The Pro model of the Corsair One I reviewed is oriented toward content creation, but it differs only from the PC gaming models by its processor, Intel's X series rather than K series, which also makes the gaming systems cheaper. The Corsair One i164 is the gaming analog of the i200, with an i9-10900K instead of the i9-10940X and costs $900 less, $3,300. The entry model i145 is pretty well equipped for $1,900, with an i7-9700F and GeForce RTX 2080 Super. The Corsair One models may not eke every bit of performance out of the components, but that's the trade-off for going with a petite powerhouse. The design is especially great for VR, thanks to HDMI and USB ports in the front. Corsair has crammed a 14-core Core i9, 64GB RAM, GeForce RTX 2080T and 2TB SSD into a very well-designed case, just a little larger than a trash-can Mac Pro. Thanks to a liquid cooling system, plus a fan pulling air out the top, it remains almost silent and the vented air never feels too hot. The Corsair One Pro i200 has a lesser $4,200 sibling, the i182. For the $300 price cut, you get a last-generation Intel Core i9-9920X CPU, 960GB SSD supplemented with a 2TB hard disk, and, because of the last gen chipset, it has Wi-Fi 5, 802.11 acres, instead of Wi-Fi 6, 802.11ax, and Bluetooth 4.2 instead of 5.0. The Wi-Fi 6 and bigger SSD seem worth the extra money, and if you're already above $4,000, you might as well go for it. Number 1 is HP Pavilion Gaming Desktop. Best inexpensive gaming PC. HP's Pavilion Gaming Desktop is a compact, budget gaming friendly, spare me the flashiness model, targeting the same casual gamer as Dell's Inspiron Gaming or Acer's Nitro lines, but a lot more understated. This $650 base model budget gaming PC should provide at least the minimum you need to play relatively undemanding games in 1080p without poking your eyes out with a stick. Intel Core i5-10400, GeForce GTX 1650, 8GB RAM and 256GB SSD storage. Those are the typical specs you'll get for this cheap gaming PC price, but if you can afford it, bump up to 16GB RAM and a bigger SSD. This gaming variant is especially worth considering if you want a small home PC to handle esports titles and mainstream games, but we really wouldn't recommend the GTX 1650 for serious pro gaming. In that case, we recommend the Asus ROG Strix GA15DK for mid-range gaming, the HP Omen 30 liters GT130090 for pro gaming and professional content creation, or the CyberPower PC Gamer Extreme Shure 8060A10 for enthusiast gamers. Otherwise, if you want a desktop PC for both gaming and work at a very reasonable price, the HP Pavilion Gaming Desktop crosses out almost everything else from that list that you'd reasonably want in a budget machine. So, I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like, left your valuable comment, subscribe to the AA Scripts channel, and press the bell icon to never miss an update from us.